I'm sure you guys have heard of the ex-crush I keep mentioning over and over again on this channel. Bless her heart, I don't need to keep mentioning her, not even for traumatic reasons. I could always do better instead of, effectively cyberbullying her by mentioning her by name to have something to prove. Oh, I'll do better in her, not only in the regards of healing, but even to just have to brag about it, which I shouldn't have to do anyways. So, but that person in particular, as you may have known, I made that first lesson of healing before I even knew what healing even was, more legitimately at least. And I applied that lesson ever since. And it worked very effectively. You know what that lesson was so far. If any have been OGs, is the one where I said doing the same thing does not make you the same person as other people. Like, caveat is a little necessary sometimes, but at bare minimum, it's doing the same thing doesn't make you the same person. Full stop. And that lesson I applied in my life directly. There's one example I'm saying I could actually mention as a slide of what I applied it to. I applied it to exercise. And that's a little personal already, but I applied it to fitness. One of the things I did with fitness was assume that if I worked out, I'd turn out like her. That could be a little corny. That can be a little paranoia. But it really was either one, both. But by working out in my own way, and I know, Bubba and all, you don't assume that from a guy like me who works out, not alone sprints for Olympic Games, Jimmy as that gets. But yeah, there is, however, a second lesson I can try to apply from this woman, and wherever she is in her life, and I cannot bully her too much on this. I really can't. We all live our own lives, we all have our past, but I can't be that disrespectful no matter how bad of a person they seem to be at the time. Traumatized, enemy. No one's your enemy. No one. But there's a second lesson I'm going to try and learn in this within this recording, let alone upload on YouTube. It's probably the main channel. Most likely send it uploading that fair as well anyways. And been uploading to the main channel on YouTube. Time immemorial. Time immemorial. I keep using that phrase. So do other people, though, to be fair. When I use the phrase anyhow or anywho, people keep using that as well, so no coincidence. That says. Lesson number 2 from this girl. This very bold woman who may or may not have, and I'll mention this only as personal as it needs to be, I don't think she ever did what she wanted to do. I think what she did, in a nutshell, was what would work so she could survive, and only thrive if it was a secondary action to that. As a result, positive consequences to surviving. And so this is a cliche for a lot of reasons, but in our own world, survive, not thrive. And then there you have it. But I think, in my opinion, and this, I'll explain this a little discreetly without saying what the categories are. There was a certain field she pursued a little bit when she was younger, and out of the only time she ever explained it, it sounded like she actually had a passion for it. And this mirrors a lot of how I see cartoon claymation, sadly. So it's a little bit like that for me. That's how much it resonates. So there's this one passion she technically had, that my assumption of that, and she didn't pursue it more than the project she had to do it for to get a grade, passing grade, with her teamwork or friends. And then she never mentions it ever again. And it's a passion she technically already had. And then I don't mean to dox that too much, but that's why I'm not saying what the categories are. But let me just say that some of those fields are creative, very creative. They're I dare say well, let's just say they're creative. I don't want to leak too much, but creative fields. What that one particular was, and then she instead went for 2 other things throughout her life that were at least going to help her survive in what you could say is a financial and a survivalist way, just making ends meet, having a living, quote unquote. Okay, it can't be like that, but I mean, it was the reality, obviously. But there's the thing with that, the problem right within that. If you know how this channel works on YouTube, and other people's as well, but some of us in part taking that, not the involvement or non-involvement, if that makes any sense, but how a lot of us see money and love and all that, and love is certainly relevant to her apparently, for me at least, love and money and all that, but let alone energy. If you get that point, we don't have to make this spiritual, but this was not the best way it was. Anyways, she avoided that passion that she could have had in exchange for two other fields that she had to do to make a living. And so what I ended up seeing happening to her was, and we'll get to the second lesson in a second if we make up in this video. What ended up happening to her was the friends that she cherished along the way started hitting down hard on her. The things that she did have a passion for that she still pursued, she had to sacrifice them in order to make other ends meet for her lifestyle and workload. And then her workload ended up being harder on her anyways. I don't know if she ended up legitimately getting screwed over harder than that, if that makes any sense, to put it lightly. But it sounds like Coming from the guy who sounds like she cares all about. I do care about this woman, I do, but I have to heal from her anyways. It's an ex crush for a reason. So it's like, but it sounds like the way I delve into this appropriately is that she ended up having to rearrange what her workload was doing with her for her mental health reasons and physical health. She's always had a clear mind compared to me. I'm always level-headed too, but she's always had a very clarified mind and very physically healthy and very much in touch with herself spiritually. Gets through those walks in nature, grabs the coffee, you name it. Pet lover, all that kind of stuff, all the bells and whistles. Even that, all that's true about her. But she would rather do that in the way that now I would like. I'm not a nature hater. I'm not a pet enthusiast in the wrong direction. Well, whatever that means. Okay, but I can love taking care of a dog or cat. I can go out and walks in nature and trees and shit. But I never appreciated the way I could have, even if I was still too philosophical for that reason. Too much in my own head, right? Too much in my own cryptogram, overthinker, procrastinator head compared to that athlete and businesswoman. Okay, there we go. Whatever. Athlete and architect, whatever. Now we'll get into it. But if she watches these videos, but so then in question, the field was film direction. The field was film direction, and instead she went for architecture and athleticism. And I'm like, lady, there's no way you would sacrifice something that truly. If you really believed in being creative, there's no way that would be a hard pass on film direction. Like even with Cinema Jacket, when he took the time to work hard to go to film school in Canada, he was not trying to do that because he had something to prove. Not even like me, not like Danny. I don't think Danny would care about something like that. Oh god damn! Now I'm getting into it. Okay. Well. Okay. There goes my doxing promise. If I even upload this video now. Anyways, that ex crush. Now it's specific. Now you have to differentiate from anyone else. That one. Okay. You did not pursue some of the really. I don't think that was the only field out of the way. I don't think that was the only. This is gonna be a long video. I can already tell. Just kidding. We'll end soon, but 10 to 14 minutes at the most. This person, at bare minimum, and to come to a conclusion, only did what would work for them to have a survival and an effect for things that she thought she liked. She followed through with the Dr. Wolf 000 philosophy of do what at least satisfies you. And I know I linked his video clip in my 40-minute YouTuber's advice, 16 YouTuber's advice video. I know I linked Dr. Wolf's thing in there, but that was not even just the Record Ralph stuff from the other video, but different connection there. But when Dr. Wolf says, at least do what satisfies you, even if it only effectively works for your off your finances and your lifestyle and productivity and your survival, and it's like living all that. If you can make a living from the thing that at least satisfies you, it would be enough to eventually work towards the things that you might love in the future, only if you would give that chance the first time. And then maybe something you could do what you love anyways. That was Dr. Wolf's advice. I think she followed through with that particularly. I think she did follow through with that kind of philosophy in question. The idea that she could at least be satisfied with it as long as she had a way to survive. And it was if you consider that with things like engineering and fitness and creative pursuits like the arts, it's like, even compared to me with my cartooning and claymation stuff, I still don't know if I'm going to upload this video. I already said too much. Not even just literally, but even informative wise. But I don't think she ever did what she wanted. She's mirroring a lot of my energy very closely. She actually, like how I avoid doing what I want instead of what and just pursue what I need, and get criticized for not doing what I need anyways. It's like different energy there. So I mirrored this woman a lot. Like she like me, we both have good physical and mental health, but we get in our own heads. We are still human, and we still don't have to know any better. But I think she didn't apply her life lessons the way she could have. She learned very, very reasonable lessons about discipline, the way she words it, and even is truly self-aware in her own right. She's a brilliant, smart woman, but ex-crush for a reason. I had to heal from her and do shower work from people like that. And it's not her fault, but it is her problem. Same with me. Whether it's my fault or problem, whether it's my fault or not, it will always be a problem either way. Whether it's my fault or not. But with her, here's what lesson number 2 would be. And I was going to write this in a poem form on either Instagram or on a gift card or something. There's like 4 words for this. I can even make an analogy, but we'll do it later. It's gonna be easy anyways. Having won what you have been working at does not enable you to win at what you're wanting. Having won, if you have won at what you're working towards, it will not allow you to just simply get to what you want to win at. And there are plenty of ways to word that better than wow, I just did twice in a row. But want, won, win, and working, wanting, won, win. Arrange it how you will. Rephrase it how you will so that this Tony Cashman guy doesn't get into your head. But there you go. It's like an extension from not only the first life lesson I applied with her, from the doing the same thing as the same person thing, and even the other philosophies and universal themes like, not can should paradigm. Work it if you it works if you work it is a good one, but also like when you just the one other thing I'd said before about logic not leading to everything and logical targeting, stuff like that. It has that same energy. It's like that would be a good lesson. If I knew how to word that better, it'd probably be more resounding towards me. But I feel like this girl has not applied her own teachings effectively in the way she could have. Not just because of what she was able to do and succeed at and utilize, because she is successful. That's straight. I didn't say it earlier, but she is successful. And she's very brilliant for doing what she has been able to do and be able to achieve in her life. But I don't think she did it in a way where she actually legitimately thought it was what she chose to do or wanted to do. She's mirroring even the energy I have when I say things like, I never get to do what I want. And I always say stuff like that. It's projection, it's also trauma on my end when I say stuff like that. When I say things like, I never had any positive negative experiences in the past, so I don't have any excuse to have nostalgia continuity. That's why I mentioned continuity and nostalgia in tandem. It's because I don't think I had that experience before. But I literally have. I just deny it. I deny being a cartoonist and claymation animator. And one of these days, I might literally regret being like that. Because let's say if I lose all my modeling clays and my drawing tablet and some other shit, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, maybe I wasn't an artist right now, but sooner or later, that creative outlet would have been nice if it was actually, something that would have helped me survive and satisfied, according to Dr. Wolf's advice. But even if whether I agree or disagree with him, however that applies, I still prefer to do what I love, even if it's not going to help me with other things. But it leads me to other rooms with 2 doors in them as well. If you know, though, the quote, 2 doors can lead to the same room, that's what I'm referring to. But and I guess we can go for 1 more minute. I still don't know if I'm going to upload this video, because I literally just doxed this girl like halfway through the clip, like on accident. I didn't even mean to mention like minute 7. I was like, this is even weirder than the last video I put on dicks, recently, like a few months ago. That's not recent, but in conclusion, again, here's the second lesson. So instead of just doing what other people do, doing the same thing as other people doesn't make the same as them. So if I work out, it's okay. If I have business aspects of my life, that's okay. All the other sorry, not the last video. But the second lesson, you have to want what you're working towards. It's not enough to have already been a winner at what you work towards. You have to actually really want it. If you didn't want what you work towards, having won or being able to win is not enough. You can't just do something just because it's effective. The can-should paradigm of doing what you just because you can doesn't mean should bears truth even still. And that is one of the most perfect examples, is what she's been able to do. What she's been capable of doing without needing to do what she wanted. And that is something you can learn from anywhere you are in life.